Let us take a recap of the derivation that we did in the last video. So in the derivation, we started with our system x1 dot equal to x2, x2 dot equal to u plus f. Here the objective was to take the states x1 and x2 to 0 as time tends to infinity in presence of external disturbance. To start with, we will take care of the state x1. In the latter part of the derivation, we will take care of the state x2 also through the control input u, but first starting with the state x1. So what we want from the state x1 is x1 dot equal to minus x1. If we have this, the state x1 is going to go to 0 as time tends to infinity. We'll take a new variable sigma, where sigma equal to x1 dot plus x1. So sigma equal to x1 plus x2. So the idea here will be to make sigma go to 0. As sigma becomes 0, x1 dot becomes minus x1. If we want to exponentially decay sigma, it will take infinite time for sigma to go to 0. If sigma takes infinite time to go to 0, then x1 dot will never become equal to minus x1. So sigma has to go to 0 in finite time. For making this finite time convergence of sigma, we choose sigma dot equal to minus sigma to the power half. We could have chosen something else, but we have chosen this strategy to make sigma go to 0 in finite time. Again, from all the states that goes to 0 in finite or infinite time, we have noticed that the sign of the derivative of the state and the sign of the state itself are opposite. So from that, we came to a conclusion that the derivative of the state and the state itself, multiplication of them will always be less than 0. Thus, for sigma also that will be valid. So sigma dot sigma will always be less than 0. When sigma becomes 0, the multiplication will obviously become 0. So until the sigma is not equal to 0, this will be valid. Sigma dot sigma is less than 0. Same will be valid for x1 dot and x1 also, or any variable that is ultimately going to 0. But we have a problem with this kind of finite time convergence. Finite time convergence will be ensured by a power less than 1. So sigma to the power half is giving us the finite time convergence. If sigma becomes negative, if sigma is negative, then root of a negative number will be imaginary. So we have to somehow ensure that the variable which is going to have a finite time convergence to be always positive. Here it is nowhere ensured that sigma will always be positive. So let us take a new variable which will be always positive. So we took v, which is half sigma square. So here in place of sigma, we will take v to 0 in finite time. As v becomes 0, sigma becomes 0. As sigma becomes 0, sum of x1 dot plus x1 becomes 0. Our main aim is to find the control input u. So with all these conditions and equation, once we put the values for sigma dot, we found that u has to take care of three things. One, to counter the x2, so minus x2. Next, change its sign with respect to as the sigma changes. And the third one is to do these things in presence of disturbance. Thus we found out the u equal to minus x2 minus rho sine x2 plus x1. While doing this derivation to make it simpler, I have neglected few factors which should have been there. Let us talk about them. The first factor is the factor c. So for any state going to 0 as time tends to infinity, we can, if we control this c, we can change the rate of decay. It is like deducting a larger part from the initial value if we have a larger c. So with this c, we can control the slope of the decay initially. So this should have been added in the derivation. Thus the sigma becomes x1 dot plus c x1. If we extend this thought, then a similar variable can also exist for this finite time convergence. That is alpha. So we can control the rate of decay for the variable v also. In this case, this variable alpha will have a major impact, because in this case it is a finite time convergence. And obviously these variables alpha, c, they have to be greater than 0. Otherwise they won't be converging, they will be diverging. Thus v1 dot equal to minus alpha v to the power half. So if we solve this differential equation, we can find the value of t. This value of t will give the time for which this variable goes to 0, starting from some initial value. Let us call this tr, time to reach, or the reaching time. So you can see that this tr is being affected by the initial condition as well as the rate of decay, the alpha. So thus the alpha has a major role to play in how much time this variable is going to go to 0. So these are one level of refinement. In the next video, we will see some further refinements, and we will try to find out a bound for this reaching time tr. We will also try to find out the value for rho, or how small can this rho be. And in the end, we will recap everything and put them together.